Please provide a comprehensive analysis and explanation of the following text. Ain't our son, there once was a man they called Andy, a serious guy with always a tone of displeasure. Up to his standard nobody could measure. They tried and they tried, but could never succeed. For the expectation set was ever changing, hidden from all, way down, deep in his heart, a pain covered up, and long since forgotten, isolating himself for protection. His cold heart constantly sucked into a shame spiral of fault-finding, blame-shifting, justification, and punishment, stuck in the past, hating the boy who had never known love, failing to meet the expectation believed to be required. His father, disappointed, dishonest, and therefore delusional, identifying independence as disobedience and dishonor. A sacrificial atonement of his own son is the only right thing left that and he can do, unwilling or unable to find the true source of the unhappiness that courses through his veins. Perhaps in the man's mind the boy cheated him from success. What is success to a person who gives their own children to a religious community in the middle of the desert 100 miles from the nearest town? You shipped your kids off to a private school in the middle of nowhere. Andy and Janet have left a trail of destruction everywhere they go, flogging your son with a belt for farting, punishing him so severely he lost his mind. Janet became a nervous wreck as Andy completely destroyed his children in the name of God. Nathaniel was sent off to San Quentin prison at age 17. Joseph was kicked out of his home at age 13, forced to live on the streets of California. Each of your children had to perform a special number every week at church so that the attendees wouldn't find out you were the evil people that you are. Your daughters were children, innocent victims of grown adult males, married with 7 children, divorced because of an affair with your daughter. Why would it ever be called an affair? 12, 13 years old and you blame the child. The man is a leader in the church to this day. Another daughter of yours got pregnant while attending the private school in the desert. Every single one of your children experienced tragedy like these with no support. How did they survive? Meanwhile, and he and Janet sitting around thinking they're better than other people with their noses in the air, name-dropping Jesus and other pastors and prophets to people, telling stories of self-importance. Even the animals God created nurture their children. How do you sleep at night? Blame-shifting your own wicked behavior onto the children that you don't like, the one or ones you don't care for, the ones you incessantly punish. How and why would anyone even believe that they deserved this? I'll tell you how and why. It is presumed that parents wouldn't do such evil to their own child. The law is there to remind bad guys that their victims have a mum and a dad out there and they'll come find you or send authorities to find them and bring them to justice. Greedy, heartless, impatient, angry people that are so godly, but they commit unthinkable crimes if they think they can get away with it. You evicted your son Nathan's widow, her and her children kicked out and their belongings placed on the curb a few short months ago. It's very cold in Illinois in the month of February. My mother and father made a covenant giving everything they had owned or would ever own over to the religious community that believes themselves to be the descendants of the tribe of Levi, one of the sons of Jacob, the patriarch of the Jewish religion. After being members of the tribe of Levi, also referred to as the house of Aaron, for many years, my mother felt as though she was being mistreated and broke the covenant they made with the community. Leaving the community, but still believing themselves to be the true Levitical priests, they spend most of their time educating the members of the churches that they attend that technically the Levites, themselves, are the true priesthood of God. Each church eventually having some sort of dramatic devastation, ending with the pastor losing his job, Carla working in the background to sow division. Carla is one of those people that can't stand to see anyone end up better off than herself. Her tongue is the root of many people's misfortune. Jackson's psychiatrist called me and asked if we would take him in because he had refused to go back and live with his abusers. The pattern of bullying and slandering people is clear to see. Cleon and Carla have been bullying children since the 80s. Malcolm, Nathan, and Joe. There's many more, as you know. Philip, Travis, Gary, Brandon, Rick, Janet, Shelley, Frankie, Carol, Neva, Mark and Debbie. Carla is constantly worried about other people's finances. She can't believe they're spending their money like that. Common denominator is Carla and her web of lies and rumor weeds. All these people and more with tragic stories and their names being said by you until they're dead. I wonder if anybody had a drug problem or problems in their marriage before Carla started saying that they did. Rachel and I have never had a drug problem. We never failed a single drug test. Jackson was guilty of wanting his hair cut by Shelley. You are so petty and toxic you went all in trying to destroy him, the same way you had done to me, the same way you did to Joseph, Nathan, and Shelley. Cleon and Carla would be described by most people that know of them as very religious. This means that they use their religious beliefs as a tool to control and manipulate the people in their lives. Narcissists thrive in religious environments. They triangulate, gossip, shame, and slander people under the guise of love, using their large network of family and friends to gather information on people and control them through improper use of their own religious beliefs. That family truly became the Ain't Our Sons. No love could they see, and so, deceived they would become. as they believe in winning at all cost, that they should receive fame for helping, and a fortune for the hard work of faking politeness, but to this end I will say no thank you. I like how I feel this day, I love to finally feel a way, I have been blessed with the gift of true love. My daughter enjoys what I prayed for as a child, a mother who is loving and kind, who loves and adores her children, a love I had never felt before. So, I wonder as I watch, as they laugh, and play all day, just smiling. I was taught, that it was wrong to be me, that I deserved to be punished, harsh insults accompanied by spankings and fits of rage and shaming lectures. I learned that it was hard to be me, and to like me was even harder, but that lie wasn't true. In fact, it couldn't be farther from the truth. So now as a father that's learning to be loved like a son, my wife has taken on a big task and far more than I know. God put inside her an endless well of love and life, unreal, but realized, and true. So, I'm learning to be great, as I grow from the warm embrace of the greatest love that I've ever known, the unconditional love of my wife. Her tried and true spirit has held me and helped transform the heart of stone into the soul of a boy, and soon I'll be bigger, a giant of love I'll soon become. I am Micah Cleon Hanks, beloved son of the maker of heaven and earth. These hands, this mind, this heart, and this mouth, was given to me by the Creator on purpose. I will be me with all of my being. I will say what I know to be true. Back in 2018 I started a group message with my sisters and mother where I was addressing these issues. On the 25th of November, 2019 I uploaded a video on my YouTube channel calling out them out for what they were doing to Shelley. Since then Rachel and I lost destroyed, are beautiful, sent by you.
This text presents a deeply personal, painful, and reflective narrative that explores cycles of trauma, religious manipulation, systemic abuse, and ultimately personal transformation. The central themes include 1. Generational trauma and familial abuse. The opening focuses on Andy, whose rigid and punitive nature stems from unresolved pain and shame. His cold heart is described as isolated and entangled in cycles of fault-finding and punishment, mirroring the struggles of children who were denied love. This sets up the broader narrative of parental cruelty, one that is justified through religious zealotry and upheld through ever-changing expectations. 2. Religious control and psychological damage. The story transitions into a disturbing account of how children are sacrificed, both figuratively and literally, under the guise of religious righteousness. It highlights extreme measures of discipline, including physical punishment and emotional deprivation. Manipulation through religious dogma, portraying independence as rebellion. Systematic neglect, where children are subjected to suffering in silence to maintain an illusion of parental virtue within the religious community. Sexual exploitation and betrayal, exposing the hypocrisy of those who wield power within the church. 3. Power, reputation, and social deception. The narrative explores how faith can be distorted into a weapon for social control. The individuals described, Andy, Janet, Carla, and Cleon, are portrayed as deeply concerned with appearances. They use religious authority to maintain an aura of superiority while engaging in practices that harm others. The critique here is sharp. It exposes how people can project holiness while simultaneously committing acts of cruelty. 4. Breaking the cycle and personal redemption. The shift toward healing begins when the narrator recognizes the lies imposed on them, the idea that they deserved punishment and rejection. The imagery of transformation from a heart of stone to that of a beloved son is powerful. Love, particularly from the narrator's wife, acts as a catalyst, reversing the damage inflicted by their upbringing. 5. Reclaiming identity and truth. The closing passages emphasize reclaiming identity as an act of defiance and liberation. By stating, "I will be me with all of my being," the narrator asserts their truth against the gaslighting and manipulation of their past. Their voice, once suppressed, is now unwavering, rooted in divine purpose rather than religious oppression. Final reflection. This piece serves as both an exposé and a declaration of victory. It confronts systemic religious abuse, challenges the false narratives imposed by authority figures, and ultimately celebrates the triumph of love and self-acceptance. The contrast between the horrors of the past and the warmth of the present illustrates the magnitude of personal growth. There's an undeniable power in the way the story unfolds. It is raw, unfiltered, and courageous. If this is part of a larger work, it could be refined further for even greater impact, perhaps exploring more depth in the allegorical elements. Does this analysis resonate with how you see it?